All right, welcome back to another dose of Crypto Airdrop Alpha. I've got a lot of stuff for you today, including a bunch of brand new farms and yield opportunities where you can actually start today and still be early and still earn some solid cash. So let's get into it. And before I actually start walking through the alpha, I just wanted to remind people that every day I am in my private Discord server here, providing alpha, providing claim reminders, and just generally chatting with people and having fun. The basic membership only costs $5 a month. So if you are into airdrop farming, yield farming, degenning, trading, and any kind of stuff like that, you should consider checking it out. Anyways, let's get to the alpha. The first thing that I wanted to note is that finally, after what seems like endless social farming, the Monad testnet is now live. So no longer do you have to desperately grind in their Discord or Telegram servers trying to get rolls. You can actually do stuff and interact with the chain right now. I am planning on releasing a full-length tutorial potentially this weekend, walking through the main things that you should be taking note of. But if you wanted to get started, you can check it out. They've launched their testnet here. They have faucets where you can get tokens, and they already have a bunch of different apps that you can start transacting on today. This is probably going to be one of the last majorly hyped layer ones that we see for a little while, because the market is definitely reaching a saturation point, and I think a lot of people are getting tired out by farming this kind of stuff. But realistically, if you are looking for a free to farm airdrop because you have a lot of time but potentially not a lot of capital, then of course this one would be a priority. They literally just launched. You can be basically a day one user right now. Technically they launched yesterday. So yeah, keep an eye out for that full-length tutorial from me as soon as I can actually finish recording it. Okay, next up, if you are farming Eclipse and TurboTap, there are 4 new boosts that you may already be eligible for, and if you're not, some of them are actually relatively easy to get. So these are from Astral Finance, Scope, the NFT exchange, Save Finance, and Relic DAO. So you should definitely max out your boosts as much as you can and claim these ASAP, because they give you boosts on your passive grass farming. So for example, for Astral Finance, all you need to do is borrow $200 on their platform, you get the boost. Scope NFTs, all you need to do is own 5 collections, you get the boost. Pretty easy stuff. All right, next up, if you have been farming Elixir, and this is another one that honestly is just beyond the pale in terms of how long they are taking to launch, but apparently you need to connect an Ethereum wallet, an EVM wallet, if you've been farming exclusively on Sui. So if you are one of these users, make sure that you go and connect an EVM wallet before March 1st. Maybe this is a hint of something that is potentially coming soon, maybe shortly after March 1st. Fingers crossed for that one, but definitely do this if you've been farming Elixir on Sui. All right, next up, for Krypto farmers, their airdrop claim just went live today. In terms of the tokenomics, they've allocated about 1/3 of the token supply to their team and the rest to community and ecosystem, including the airdrop, which was 10% for the initial airdrop. Not a massive amount. Honestly, I think a lot of people had ridiculously high expectations for this one. On Twitter or X, if you follow along with the Krypto conversation, people were saying you were going to get like $100 per YAP, which was just completely absurd. However, especially for users on kind of the smaller side, I think this was a pretty solid airdrop. Even if you had 0 YAPs, you should check, because a lot of people in my Discord server have been saying this morning that, oh, they had 0 YAPs, but they qualified for like $50 of free Krypto tokens. So go and check and see if you're eligible. All right, next up, let's move to some new stuff that you can farm starting today. DeFi.app is an interesting one. So I just logged into this today and just started checking it out. And I think it's cool because when you connect a wallet, it's kind of like DBank, where it can track your portfolio and the assets that you have in that wallet. But you can also easily make swaps of stuff across multiple chains. So for example, it picks up ETH that I have on multiple chains right here. Now I think this is a pretty bullish launch because this is super normie friendly. And the thing is, they have a points system. So currently I have 0 XP, haven't started farming this one yet, but basically there's a few different categories, and we'll click here, join the arena. This is the page right here where you can track your points. You can join a faction in order to get boosts on your experience. And the actions that currently count to earn XP are swapping on DeFi.app after you've joined a faction. So that's an important factor. Just holding assets in their own smart wallet, and then referring other users. The season 1 end date hasn't even been announced. You are super early to this, and so if you wanted to check out a new farm, I think this one is an interesting opportunity. All right, next up, let's talk about Sonic. Now, this is not actually a new chain. They used to be called Phantom. They rebranded to Sonic, and they have a points campaign on. And even though they already have a token, which is currently sitting at a $2.5 billion market cap, they have an airdrop campaign on where they're dropping $160 million worth of S tokens based on today's prices. So this amount here is variable. Anyways, there's a few ways that you can earn points for this. You can earn passive points simply by holding assets, and then you can earn activity points by actually doing stuff and interacting with the applications in this ecosystem. And then you can also potentially earn airdrops from the various different apps, and those are called app points. So a lot of people have been talking about Sonic. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link to this dashboard down below. And then after you've bridged to the chain and gotten familiar, their canonical bridge is down here, by the way. If you want to have a more in-depth look at some strategies, I recommend checking out a Drake on Digital's video. He just posted an hour-long tutorial on this ecosystem. And also Dynamo DeFi, Patrick posted a little guide on what to do in Sonic DeFi. Okay, another new opportunity, and this one, by the way, is for people with a bit more capital, whereas let's say Monad, you don't need any. But this is Berachain yield farming. Their airdrop campaign may be over, but mainnet is live, and there's actually some pretty insane yields that you can get on Berachain if you're looking to farm. You can easily get double and potentially triple digit yields depending on what you're farming within this ecosystem. So if you're looking for a place to park some capital, even just stablecoin farming, Berachain is an interesting opportunity. Although also within the Sonic ecosystem, there's some pretty solid yield farms as well. And then one more opportunity, this one for people with ETH, is on Mantle. So they just launched a new vault for their CM ETH, which gives you ETH staking yield, restaking yield, a bunch of different points for their various campaigns, and also a 2% fixed yield annually on top of all of those other rewards. So realistically, this juices up your Ethereum staking yields much higher than they would normally be. And I think it's an interesting opportunity for people that are holding ETH and looking for a place to farm. So just a suggestion there. Okay, a few more things before I leave you today. Rivals AI is going to be having their airdrop soon. If you participated in the testnet campaign, you can check in their dashboard here. Just go to Rivals Rewards and scroll down, and you can see how many tokens you're going to be eligible for. I've also heard that this is not the final amount. It will be updated by tomorrow, where you'll be able to see how many you will actually be getting. But yeah, you can check this out. Maybe if you're watching this video the next day after I posted it, you should see an updated amount. Then the last thing that I want to mention is that Caldera has finally announced that they're actually launching a token soon with a retroactive airdrop. There was a whole series of quests, a bunch of them I definitely recommended and talked about in my previous videos on the channel here. So keep an eye out for that one because we'll be getting a Caldera airdrop soon. So that is it for today's alpha. Hopefully you found this useful as always. Thanks so much for watching and have a good one.